Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through!
Greetings, you tentaculous creature of awe, and welcome to Fumble Through!
Fumble through!
A podcast that has decided the upside down isn't good enough and now exists in the in-between. We are back in the Fumble Factory. After a small pause in production, the renovations are complete and everything has been rebuilt just as it was before, only a few centimetres to the left. And speaking of someone who is always a few centimetres to the left...
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. That's all I've got. I kind of forgot that was my whole spiel.
Every time. You've never remembered.
Hey, there was times when I came with raps and songs prepared, and then I've just totally forgotten
the
those.
Dido Eminem song. Who could forget that even existed?
I love that time you came in with the Hear Ye, and episode 1, 8, 12, 14, 73.
That's true as well. That's true. Look, in the words of Monty Python, it's now time for something completely different. That is to say, we all know people are hanging out to hear what happens to Miles, Reg, Flopsy, and that new girl that Brett's got. I don't know what her name is anymore. It's been so far. But we are here and we are in the in-between. That means we are taking a short break from the story we love so much to bring you a short interlude of awesomeness. We will be back to that, but we decided we needed something to break into the new and improved Fumble Factory and get us back into the swing after a pause in production. Like the cutting edge technologists we are, we've decided to jump rails and play a different role-playing system. Just as a new version actually gets announced, you know, that's because we're cutting edge.
We like to do that.
That's right. We are dipping our toes and our other bits into the world of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons Double D.
Double D!
Double D. We are going to be playing through the Essentials Kit, not only to learn the game, but to record us doing something to help
the
other
Essentials
people learn.
Kit.
It's called the Essentials
I
Kit.
thought it was the Essential Kit.
Oh, that
Essential
explains
essential
it.
oil.
That's why I had my back door renovated in the Fumble
It also
Factory.
explains the robe that I'd like you to actually do up in the front.
You can't see anything through the
I
hair.
thought it was done up at the front.
That's right, Chewie.
I did
Punch
actually.
it, Chewy.
Gross.
Talking about Essential Kit, I actually did see on Kickstarter the other day a new game system called Lude.
Okay, Ludo.
Lude. And it was,
They're not dyslexic and just did the D backwards?
no, it was an adult D&D for couples.
Whoa. Slow down, Maurice.
Or there was a drinking game conversion.
I do have an adult
Drinking game
D&D
conversion.
Yep.
I do have an adult D&D rule book around seducing people and what you might do. There's a male version and a female version.
in character,
I have
or-
the male one, and one of the spells is you can make a person's appendage so large they can no longer move effectively. It is
Tripoditis.
yeah, as you can imagine, third party, but
We've all been there, Justin.
third parties are always welcome.
We've all been there, mate.
But anyway, back to the script at hand.
Interrupted.
Anyway, this look, we are changing to 5th edition because it gives us a chance behind the scenes, I guess, to do something a little more structured so that we can juggle the complexities of our very complex personal lives at the moment. But we can still release content. We can get together. It's not so much stress in the background, and it's going to be a bit of fun. And that said, I really like it because you know what, the one thing that there are two things I really love about jumping to Double D, and that is number one, Brett hates 5th edition from what we know.
You are correct.
Can't stand it. He hasn't liked it.
I mean, if you want something really easy the preschooler can take up and play and you don't need to prep shit,
Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah,
So we're not going for a sponsorship here, then, I take it.
Brett was a real 4th edition fan. And the other thing that I really love is that, and I can see it in front of me right here, Luke has a rule book. I actually think
Two.
Luke might be actually more informed about this game than I am.
Starfinder, right?
Certainly better. You know more about this than I do. I've got nothing here.
That's a bold claim, which I don't think will stand up in about 20 minutes.
Oh, that's a spell in that book too.
Bold claim will stand up.
I also have a reason that I like that we're doing this. And that's because my good friend John, who is the most person I know who hates cliffhangers the most, has been messaging me weekly since that last cliffhanger episode got released, and I just really want to see what he sends me.
Break him.
Break
John. His spirit.
Yeah.
Look, we are going back. Maybe. No, we definitely not. Maybe. to that. But it flips it on the head because I think at this table now, we go from Lindsay being the least experienced with Pathfinder to the most experienced with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, DMing it, and I kind of just made up the rules as I went because I'm the DM.
That's what you can do with fighting.
You don't
right?
make up rules. Rules are written in a book.
I knew there was a reason. I knew there was a reason I like this kind of game. You're making up the rules as you go.
Sorry,
I can get on
making up
board.
rules. Wait, this does not compute.
No, but it is. It's kind of a very fluid in the way you want to do things. If there's no rule in it, and you think we say we want to do this, and there's no rule that you know of in there,
You don't do it.
You either give us an advantage or disadvantage.
Justin knows no rules, so he would just figure that out anyway.
You just don't do it.
So we're going to be
I say
constantly
no.
rolling 2d20s then is what you're saying.
I've got this pamphlet here that has all the rules on it.
It's like you're being hexed all over again, Justin.
This pamphlet, this GM screen with all the.
What is that GM screen? It's looks like it's made by to match Trump's hands.
Oh, this is the GM's. I'm going to get to this, but this is the GM screen from the Essentials kit. And I want to go through now. All I can think of is the Essentials kit.
It's barely covering your crap.
No. The essential oils
The
kit.
Essential
It's
kit.
It's 5th E Essentials kit.
It's like it looks like it's like 3 inches shorter than a normal GM screen. It's kind of like if you were comparing Luke's 2 legs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were going to hark back to that. There's
The
a spell
book.
for that.
There's a spell for that. Back in that.
Oh, the
book.
gloves off of come off early
Yeah.
there. Okay, here we
It's been
go.
a while
Yeah.
since
That's
we've
fine,
been in
yeah.
the same room
It is,
for each other.
Let's hope Lindsay's made an effective character.
Yeah, Lindsay's got a lot of aggression.
Lindsay said to me it's fine because Luke can chase him, but he just keeps running in circles.
Okay, awkward silence. Great, thank you.
I don't know where I stand on that.
Bullshit.
Look, as of sorry, I'm thinking of so many off-center jokes and unbalanced. And,
Lovely.
Yeah, I wasn't going to double down
Laugh
on
at the
that.
cripple.
I've left no one with a leg to stand on.
Look, that all said, some things will not change as ever before in this show. We love to start with the thing we've all come to know and love. It's the dicey question.
Hold on. Before we do, if I'm going to play this shit piece of game, I'm going to start a new tradition, and that is we have to drink while we do it.
Okay.
So what I've brought today is a lovely black hops beer for us to enjoy. Black hops is black hops. Be careful with your pronunciation, people. Is
this another leg shorter than the other joke? You've got a beer that describes
hopping.
how I walk.
Yeah, hopping. He's hopping mad.
Just one after the other.
Yeah.
That's how you walk.
This is a Queensland brewery, Black Hops, and they do fantastic beers. This one's called Fire and Ice Cream.
It is too.
And it's based on a
I
raspberry.
thought he was making it up. Sorry.
It's based on a raspberry and lemon bombalaska. And those of you who might not know, a bombalaska is a dessert with
Is
a
it?
meringue.
I did not know
It
that.
says on the can, if you do your reading, it's like a
even
rule
got a
book on a
picture of
can.
it.
Yeah, I don't read. That's
The
exactly.
bombalaska's history is folklore. Its country of origin is up for debate, but it is a spectacular. No, sorry, its spectacle is not. Fruit-filled ice cream and sponge cake is covered by a pillowy lemon meringue and set alight for dramatic effect. So it feels to me like it is the kind of D&D version of beer. It's got all of the theatre, all of the dramatic elements. There's a fireball spell in there.
There's even a little symbol here that looks like a dragon egg above where it
that's the
says
bombalaska.
raspberry and
No,
lemon.
that's a don't drink while you're pregnant symbol, Justin.
Oh, it will hurt my baby.
Don't drink while you're incubating your eggs.
Now, this one is 7% alcohol in a can.
Yeah.
That's 2.1 drinks in this can.
That's
so
hefty.
take it slow. It's a dessert beer.
It is
Oh,
what
that's
you can
gold
claim.
mine.
But it is time now to
Okay, I'm
crack
gonna
your
crack it open.
cans.
Bubble brew.
Right. Are we giving this on taste. Are we gonna do it? What's that called when you like take something and you talk about it after you eat it?
A review?
That's the one. That's the one. Can I just point out
words for Justin?
Yeah, Brett couldn't read earlier either.
Yeah, the raspberries there beautifully.
Okay.
I thought that was going to be way hoppier than it actually
that is good.
Ooh, that is nice.
That is nice.
So you can't tell that that's 7% at all.
That's actually...
Stop rubbing your penis on me, Luke.
The creamy aftertaste.
Yeah.
That was not a comment to follow through with that. Oh my days!
I kind of black out all your.
Oh, easy. That's the other thing that's in the drink.
I kind of just. You guys make so many innuendo jokes. I kind of
Innuendo.
ignore them.
Just wait, 7%. They're going to come thick and fast.
That's what she said.
Black
One sip, guys. One sip.
Yeah, we're all... It's the Black Hops make great
They
beers.
do.
Really
They do. I think I'm going to try and bring a Black Hops to every session, and we can just go through a range of stuff.
Please do. That's delicious.
I love that they're local. Actually, at one point, we should actually go to the Black Hops Brewery and ask them if we can record there.
They're at the Gold Coast, Big Waters. They're based at the Gold. Yeah, we can record there. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, cool.
We don't have to ask. Let's just do it.
Set up a table.
Get a paddle of beers.
What I will say is there are quite a few good independent breweries around us that are amazing that we should all visit and get to. But we should start with Black Hops because yeah.
Black Hops, if you want to send us weekly 4 beers, that'd be a hashtag Black Hops, everybody.
I was going to say hashtag Black Hops, yeah.
Black Hops.
Matter.
I mean, both of them do fire and ice, but 2 different kinds of things, I think.
This is like the Henry Cavill quest, except achievable.
You say that.
Maybe.
You say that. Yeah.
Loosely possible.
I sprayed my entire screen.
That's what she said.
Oh, my goodness. I love it. Bring it home. Come on.
If you guys have any brewery or beer recommendations, let us know. Send them through to the Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram. Send us beers.
Now he's on point with that. Not when we
just a little rusty.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll
Tis what she proclaimed. We're a little rusty.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So Black Hops for the derailing.
So, while I don't like D&D 5th edition, the beer is excellent.
You don't even know. We haven't played it yet. We haven't gone through
Not with a good GM, anyway.
I have my position, and I'm sticking to it until you can move me off.
Brett has played with me, thank you. You saying I'm not a good
Easy,
GM?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Lindsay.
Yeah. There's not one in this room.
Wow.
So anyway, back to the show. Every week we like to start with a dicey question. It's going to get a little dicier now that we've opened these cans. Oh, yeah, open a can of dicey. No, that doesn't work.
No. Whoop ass in a minute, but yeah.
So we are going to open the dicey question for this week. And this week, the dicey question is all about role-playing. It's right up your alley, Brett. It's also a little bit interlude, what Lindsay said before, because
Interlude or into
It is about role-playing games and gaming systems in general. What are the best and worst non-digital games out there that you've played? I'm talking board games, role-playing games. I am talking things that you love, things that you have engaged in, things that you want to recommend to others, days that you've had that are just the most memorable moments of your life. Who's got a role-playing game that they'd like?
Oh, role-playing.
Well, let's start with role-playing genres. I guess there are lots of different games out there.
Yeah.
So
I've got one. It's not technically a role-playing game, but the way I've played it, it kind of turns into one. It's
Minecraft?
called Star Trek Panic.
Ooh, okay. Tell us more.
Now, you had me at Star Trek.
So it's basically a Star Trek
Nanu.
game where you all get randomly given a card. That's your character role.
Yeah.
And you have to try and get through X number of missions, and you only have so many actions, and it just gets hairier and hairier each time trying to do it. No? Okay.
No. Sorry, I'm leaving you well alone now.
Just hairier and hairier. And
Wait. Do that again.
That's right.
Do it. Say,
Nope, no, it's all good.
It's hairy and hairy.
So
Just what do you do it?
you
Just
have like
Brett.
this paper.
None shall pass is how I'll do it.
You literally have this You literally have this cardboard Enterprise in the middle of the thing.
Yeah.
And as it gets shot on by other ships, you put explosions on it and bits fall off and you have to rotate the shields. It's really fun.
Okay. That
Sounds
really
really
cool.
When you said cardboard enterprise, I was reminded of this business.
I enjoyed that. Thank you. That was good.
But
Almost
yeah,
as
so
much as I'm
that
enjoying this beer,
It's
which
one
is
of my
going down
favorite
very
games.
quickly.
and
Do you
it's
own this game?
No,
Okay.
but I can,
Loved it so much he didn't buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know I have this mate of ours, and he's got rooms like this.
It's
big
just the
full
guy
of
that keeps
video
coming
games.
around every now and then with the idea to play a board game with you. Did you remember? If you talked about him behind
But
the
previously,
table
before I started playing a lot of D&D, would do this quite regularly.
I'm
We'd
sure
have massive board game
I
nights.
don't know whether it was on mic or not, but I'm sure you've mentioned
He doesn't
that situation.
exist.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's that homeless guy at the park that keeps wanting to play Twister.
And
it's the mirror.
for most hated,
Oh,
and this is only
We're going
because
straight to most
I'm going to
hated.
go straight to most hated. I'm going to do both mine and then I'm out of the way.
Mic drop.
Is going to be really piss people off. Settlers of Catan.
Oh, yeah.
I've never played it.
And that's just because I have played it so much
Oh.
that I'm just sick of it. And
So it's the
Holds
worst
no
game
joy
because
for me.
you've enjoyed it too much.
it's an okay game, but
It's a good
not.
game, but I hate it.
I've
it's-
chewed the flavour out of this bubble gum.
Yeah, it's well made and it's well balanced and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was never one of my favorites, and it
also a
just
classic.
became.
I've
yeah.
never played it. Never ever.
So
Well, I
also
have
Settlers.
I've heard about it.
I do have it, so we can play that.
I've played it.
Oh,
I played
just
it, I
to get
played it
your
once.
rage up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it once.
I love it. Lindsay, the worst game is Settlers of Catan. I never want to play that game again. I've never played it. I own it. We can play it.
Yeah. But yeah,
The things you do for me, Lindsay, I love you.
I'll watch.
That's what she.
That sounds yeah.
But yeah, it is a good game. I'm done.
You've had enough
I'm
of
done.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're in board game territory. What are the board games that you like?
Oh, I've got an RPG. Well, it's a loosely an RPG that I loved. And, you can look around the room and find the evidence of this. There was a Star Wars minis game
Oh, yeah.
that I collected a lot.
Yes, you did.
A lot. I've got boxes and boxes of them here.
Is that a board game or a tabletop?
Well, it's a tabletop
Oh,
game, and it's the
miniatures.
miniatures card game. You get, a card with your stats on it. It's like
yeah,
the
yeah.
simplest version of RPG, right?
Yeah.
Based on a D20, but you get, plus 10 to attack on the card, whatever.
It's a little bit like Top Trumps.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
No.
Not. I love that game, and I love playing that game, and I'd set up games for, friends would come over and we'd do missions and have I'd set up scenarios. It was really, really good fun, and then they stopped making it, and it really broke my heart.
I got a similar story to this, but yeah, go. Yeah.
They stopped making it maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, and if you look down there, I bought 3 cartons of those miniatures before they stopped making it, and I haven't opened those boxes yet.
We need to play this.
We need to
Can
record
you,
that.
You need to show me this because I've never seen this.
Oh, I love the game, and you can be Darth Vader, but you can also just be a horde of Wookiees. It's amazing.
Is a group of Wookiees called a horde?
A gaggle,
a clogged
gurgle,
a clogged drain of Wookiees, I think is
a mangy,
a minge of Wookiees.
American of Wookiees.
The dads of Wookiee.
a minge of Wookiees. That's great.
That's really funny.
Oh, that's
Anyway, so I love that game, and I love playing that game, and I love setting up. I would do scenarios where you get your army, and you could fight someone else, and we had multiple things going on: space battles and ground battles. It's got a space battle version as well, with executive class star destroyers and interdictors and all the the whole shebang.
Into
Great.
what? Into what?
What are you into?
I've just kind of realised how we're going to go. I'm going to send the.
Oh, Black
Cheers.
Ops.
Thank you, Black Ops.
I've just kind of realised that I'm going to send the previous episode where we go through my whole life event to all my family, and then if they just listen on to the next one, it's going to go into a minge of Wookiees. Then it's going to be like, oh, what a good episode. I might listen to the next one. Just bam.
Wait till we talk about a lot of Jawas. Anyway, so one of the things we do on that game is go, all right, well, when you get reinforcements, you just get a box of reinforcements and you open one of those boxes and you get whatever's in the box.
Mhm.
So, you could have a rebellion army, but all of a sudden you got all these dark side guys in your reinforcements and stuff, and it kind of makes it really interesting.
They were great.
I
events.
love those games.
Yeah.
I loved them. And, that's why those boxes are there. So when we play that game, we can go, all right, you've got a reinforcement by a box, and you can pick up the 3 different kinds of boxes I've got there because they're 3
I
different.
really want to look at this now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need
So-
to play this game.
So if you look on the shelf, there's all of those minis. The Star Wars minis are all this game, and there's card files, 4 or 5 card files of cards for those minis. Great fun. Loved it. I'm really, really sad they don't make it anymore. I collected a lot of it, and would keep doing so. You've lost a lot of money out of me.
Do you know what company actually used to make it?
I could pull a box out and find it, but I think it's Hasbro, bro.
Oh, bro.
Oh, bro. Oh, no.
I'm grabbing one.
I'm very keen.
You're keen with anything that you're like,
I am.
this is going to cost me money.
Yes. Yes. Ooh.
Sorry, it's a Wizards.
Is it? Oh,
It's Wizards.
The very company whose game we're playing tonight.
That's correct.
Oh.
That came out after, I believe there was a Dungeons and Dragons skirmish game that had pre-painted miniatures for a long time that was along the same
And that's why I don't like painting
lines.
minis, because these all come and they're really, really good minis that are,
How many come in a
paintable.
booster box? 7.
Yeah,
Says on the box.
good
That is
night.
awesome.
Those were really good nights.
And easy to prep, easy to play, easy.
Okay, so you've given us one of your non-role playing. What's a worst? What's on the
In
worst
the role
scale?
playing or not the role?
Not the role playing.
All right. Well, the non-role playing, there was a game when I was young called Polyconomy. It's like Monopoly, but there's a whole system of government in there, and you get to set taxation rates. So while you're doing the math,
Riveting.
while you're doing it, it goes up that you get $1 billion notes, but you got to do 10%. If the tax is on 8%, you've got to do 8% of your stuff. So the maths in this game was incredibly hard. You could buy corporations, not land. And then you get taxed on those, like, it's significantly intricate to the game. The game was not so bad, but getting people to buy into that game, my friends have just come over. Let's pull out Polyconomy and have a 45 minutes of rule setting and calculatoring, and no, we're out of here. We're going to go whack someone with a lightsaber.
Yeah. Because of my learning disability, I didn't ever play Polyconomy. My learning disability is I didn't want to play Polyconomy. It looked so. I believe we looked at it once.
I've still got it.
We pulled the rule book out, and I went, "I'm out. I'm not."
It was like,
engaging
here's
with
the
that.
rule book.
Put your penis away.
Bigger than the 5th edition rule book, I tell you.
More substance.
Jesus. All right, Luke, what have you got?
First of all, serious question.
Games
Am I going flush around the face? Because I feel like I'm going flush after this.
No,
bit.
no, you're
okay,
right.
good. First of all,
not on the face.
just give a special mention to Connect 4.
Oh,
Love that
love
game.
Connect 4.
And it's a game
Do you
that
know
me and
what
my wife play all the time.
Do you know what
And
I love?
I dominate her every time. Although she dominates me, Uno. Don't look at me like that.
You know what I love? You go to a winery, they've got the big Connect 4s. You play that Connect 4 and kids play you because you're in the kids area because that's where the Connect 4 is. And you spare no quarter on those kids and you crush them.
You can go to local parks. Sometimes they have like the little Connect 4
I'm like,
things.
line up. All right, bomb your beer 8-year-old. You lost. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Winner
You
stays on.
suck, kid. I'm only 2.
So we're not doing role playing. We're just doing whatever. So I'm going to go into the realm of CCG. So customizable card games.
Okay, go.
Yeah. So when I was at uni, which is in a while ago now, which is in the late 90s,
Last century.
there was a company called Decipher, and they had the rights from Lucas to do a Star Wars customizable card game.
Okay.
And it was the best. Like they started off obviously with the New Hope as the original
Yep. The cards.
the original
Yep.
set of cards that came out, and they did obviously new releases after so much time every year. And I think they ended up all the way right up to Phantom Menace. They maybe did some other ones after that called Reflections, which was basically an amalgamation of cards from all the previous sets.
Okay.
But they lost basically the franchise rights for that. Wizards, funnily enough, got
Picked
the
it up.
franchise for something else, and the card game that they produced wasn't anywhere near as good.
Yep.
But I've got all these Star Wars decks back in the UK that are just in pristine condition, because as it cancelled in the early 2000s, I managed to get a whole bunch of booster boxes ordered in from the States at like a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
Like an insanely cheap price. I pulled all these amazing rares and managed to build loads of really cool decks and stuff like that. But the amount of nights in the student union playing that card game was just immense.
You do love your card games.
I do love my
you?
card games, yes.
I've never really engaged in the idea of a card. I've always wanted something a little more substantial. Like if I'm going to play cards, I just need a normal deck and we play like 21 or something.
Yeah,
or canasta.
Go fish.
I've been playing Hearthstone on my phone. I love it.
Oh, I do love the Gwent game.
Again,
from the Witcher video game, but that's a digital game, and we're not going
back to reality.
Again, I just want to point out, Luke, and I'm starting to think this might be a problem for you. It's a thing that you have to collect.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So we have dice, we have minis, we have card games.
Yes. What's your point?
Have you not met this?
So the real problem is,
there's not one of us around this table that can't say that we don't have a weird collection.
I was trying to avoid. Mentioning Games Workshop because that's the obvious go-to for me. But one of my favorite games at the moment that I'm playing is Warhammer Underworlds because it combines board, miniatures, and customizable decks all in one game. It is like the best.
It's crack.
They do their own dice and everything. It's just
3 lots of collections.
I tell you, the amount of money I have fleeced out onto that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Easy buy-in, but then once you buy in, you're hooked. Yeah.
That's why I stay away.
I know, right? Yeah.
You can buy away.
You've tried to drag me into Warhammer. I do not want to lose my house, my car, my family.
Get a zip account. You're fine. Just funnel money to the zip account. Oh shit, Sarah, listen.
That's right. You can just funnel money straight to my zip if you want.
And for your negative game, Black Ops. Now your microphone is full of beer.
Wasn't enough to spill it on the table.
That raspberry really hits when it's at the nostrils. I tell you.
You just made a Billy Joel song.
Okay, sorry, what was the question?
What is your negative? What's your negative game? What's the game that you're like, nah, tap out?
Sorry, actually, can I just take a little roll back and give you one other game that I think is actually amazing?
I have an honourable mention in mine as well.
Do you know, I'm surprised that hasn't been brought up. Maybe you're going to do this, and if you do...
No, I won't. You have
Brett's
no idea.
the one that's meant to have lists.
Sorry, yes.
Hey, new game system is 5th edition.
New game system, new shifting of rules. Hero Quest.
Hero Quest. Oh my, yeah.
Got you.
First miniatures I ever painted was a Hero Quest set for one of my friends. He was like, "Take these, paint them for me," and I was like, that was the day I was hooked on painting miniatures, painting those skeletons. They were crappy miniatures to look back on them, but oh boy, beautiful. Did that system of game unleash an imagination that, it was crazy.
Just par excellence. That one. Absolutely.
I had my cherry popped on that game not that long ago, and it was extraordinarily fun.
Yeah. Friend of the show, Mikey, took us through a game of that, and it was a real fun game, even as an adult. I thought the shine might have been from teen to adult, might have been different, but it was, if anything, I actually loved it even more.
What I loved about it was the depth in the rule book more so than the 5th edition game.
And
so 5e is the segue to Hero Quest, which is the segue to Pathfinder.
The rule book that is one card. These are the things you can do.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, what's your negative game?
Negative game, Scrabble.
Yeah.
Because I can't spell for toffee. I really can't spell.
Can you spell toffee?
For toffee's not a word.
Hang on.
You can't spell it.
I'm HAPPY. No, that's happy.
Black hops.
I don't have a huge amount of fond memories as a child playing board games because in our house we just didn't play board games.
You also
you're an only child.
Yes. But my parents weren't board game enthusiasts.
And they were Welsh parents, so any word was like a Welsh thing, right?
That's so racist. I take such offense to that. English, man. So like that was why a lot of my board game experiences when I was younger were things like Hero Quest or Space Crusade and stuff like that because
things that Luke can play his game. Yes, we'll have a turn. Roll the dice. Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm not enough and also the TV. Yeah.
Do this. Yeah. Yeah.
Top trumps are big. Yeah.
Oh, top trumps. That needs an honourable mention
It does.
anyway.
I don't even know what that is.
You
Have
don't
you
even
never played
what
Top Trumps?
the hell?
Oh
I've
my
never
God.
heard of it.
Top Trumps is my family's road trip game. Like, we always buy a deck of something in Top Trumps. So Top Trumps essentially is a card game where you get given cards, and the whole thing is you have to take a stat. So we have Marvel Top Trumps. And for example, if you get the Marvel Thor card, you just go height. Thor's the highest card number that you can get. If your number's higher than everyone else's, you win their cards. And the whole purpose of the game is you have to end up with the entire deck.
But
And
there's
it
one
is-
card in the deck that is the top trump,
Yeah.
which essentially all its stats are amazing. So you got to be very, apart from one, maybe.
Well, it
Hulk.
can change.
Yeah.
It depends on the game that you play. So, like for Marvel, there are different characters that are the top trump in that particular region.
that's
So
stat.
strength or
right,
height
right.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
you always know when someone says height, it's like you got Thor, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Yeah, so top trump, but it's such a fun game. Kids play it in the car on on road trips.
Just before they throw
We'll
up.
see them. They'll have them in Zing and things like that. There's literally limitless
Yeah, Toy
types
World,
of decks.
Toy
Yeah.
World, right near the counter.
I don't rate it.
It's it's there. That the honourable mention that I would like to give before I give my actual real one is a game that I never thought that I would actually engage in, that I played with my next door neighbour. He invited me over for a games night. He's a very big board game enthusiast.
Was there a bowl with keys in it as you walked in?
No, because
gimp?
I didn't have to drive anywhere.
But he did.
Yeah. But it is a game called Trans America. Yep. You people. I'll tell
You
what.
people, that was straight after you said Trans America.
Your
Come on.
laugh is what got me then.
Jeez.
I think your laugh is what got me in
Oh,
those
jeepers.
You just went,
I think the beer has taken effect.
Oh, you reckon? I'm only halfway through. This is lovely, by the way. But
Actually,
why?
this 5th edition is great.
Try drinking it to your nose. It's even better.
But Trans America, it's a railway game. You basically play a railway tycoon and you have to
Yep.
put down railway
I've actually
bits.
played that.
And it is actually a really fun, it's a quick game, but it's always the game that you warm up before, while waiting for everyone to arrive. Grab Trans America, you do 20 minutes of that and railway tycoon kind of stuff.
Ticket
And
to Ride is
you
also
can be,
good.
it's kind, I think it's better than Ticket
It
to Ride
is.
because you can be an absolute asshole to people because essentially you have railway that once you link up with someone else, if it's the one color of railway, everyone can use that railway system. And the whole aim of the game is you've got to link all of the places that you get cards. So you have to link all the places in America that you've got together with your railway. If you can do that, but you have colored ones that only you have and no one else can use that railway, if you put the colored railway card in the slot in the right spot, you can fuck everyone.
Oh, okay.
And it can be the nastiest game because you can only put down a couple of railways every turn and then you're building to someone and someone just like, bam, fuck you.
But it really decides the night, right? When you either pick that or Ticket to Ride as your opening game. Because they're both almost identical in the way they play, but one makes you an arsehole and the other makes you in for a good night of fun.
Well, you know which one I'm going to go for.
Well, he was warming up for the rest of the night, so
Yeah.
arsehole it is.
That's right. My game of choice though is a game that I still have a box for. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's again a miniatures game called not Hero Quest. It's called, you ruined me. It's called Hero Clicks.
Yep.
So it's essentially a game that you
Sounds
get
like a knockoff to me.
little miniatures. There was a Marvel version, a DC version. They released other kinds of versions throughout the time, but you would have terrain, so you could put a mat down and put terrain down.
And it was like you
And
could spend an hour building the terrain, right?
yes and no.
It had height. It was 3D. It was like
it depended what you wanted to do. There was just a fold-out map
Yeah.
that you could use as well with squares on it, and essentially every character that you had that had little clickers at the bottom that you could turn around, and that was their powers. So you could play, and they all had like numbers on them. So you would accrue your army like Warhammer to a certain number, and then you would fight the other team on this battle arena. So Mikey and I would play DC versus Marvel. We'd put together like the Spider family versus the Bat family, or the X-Men versus the Justice League, or, you know, so whatever you would play. And it's like a 2-player game. You can play it 4 players. You can play it, you know, as many kind of players as you want, but all of them have these little miniatures. And again,
those minis were great.
It was the same as that kind of Star Wars mini idea, but whereas Brett always leans towards the Star Wars, I like to lean towards superheroes.
I played that with you guys once, and it was so much fun.
It's a great
game. It was
game.
really
easy.
And
really
I remember
simple.
the train building up high because some of them could fly, and, you know, if you get Superman, he can get up in this. So, you know, there was all these options. It was great.
I'm surprised we haven't had a little dip into the, what's that Marvel game that we see? Is it Crisis? No.
John?
The miniatures, the way we go to...
it is Crisis.
Irresistible Force. It's Crisis, is it?
It is Crisis. I have stayed away from that. Those miniatures
But I don't think that'd be too expensive for buying. I really don't.
$250 for the starter set.
That's why.
Starter set, but then, like, you know...
And then every other set is $50 to $80.
That's why I'm saying at a Legion. Star Wars Legion is the same,
Legion will just escalate to something absurd. I get that. That's fine.
I've got, like, 8 boxes up there, and I can't look at them. Otherwise, I'm in.
Yeah, and again, for me, like the actual anxiety of me buying those miniatures and having to paint a miniature of Spider-Man and get it right, that would destroy me. Like, you know,
whereas
the
I'd
colours would have
just
to be,
dip him into some red, dip him into some blue, and I'd give him to you.
And then squash him. And then chuck him
Like
in the toilet and flush.
We need to
put him in the microwave, Justin. That's what Spider-Man does.
There seems to be like a stretch goal if anyone ever funds buy me a coffee.
She said.
We do a video of us playing some of these games.
Justin had a stretch goal when he went to his neighbour's place.
Gross. That's not fair. Sorry, Nigel.
Because some of these sound awesome.
Trans America.
And my least favorite game. See, I don't know that I have a least favorite. I have a least favorite experience, which is setting up the board game Shogun.
Doing this last week.
Yeah, if you've ever set up the board game of Shogun, it takes like 40 minutes. It is little tiny. It's a board with little tiny 5 mil kind of little figures that you set up in army lots, and they don't have a little slot that you can put them on. If you bump that table, those fuckers are everywhere. Oh, no. It is the worst. It's like one strong gust of wind and you are 40 minutes down.
Yeah, one misaimed fart and you're done,
right.
mate.
You are. It is the most, it's harrowing just to set up. And then I remember setting it up once and then just going, I don't even want to play anymore.
I'll tell you another one that special mention that we should probably get, because I know you've got some of it and you know, it's already painted anyway, is X-Wing.
Yeah.
Fantasy. Well, I mean, I've only got the first edition. They've done second, and there's, I think 2.5's on its way out. But the first, it's such a good game. So easy.
It does look good.
Yeah. Brett's like, put your wallet away.
If we go honourable mention of board games, I'm going to be here
away from things I have to paint.
But it's already painted. That's the beauty about the X-Wing stuff. And they're painted really well.
Nice.
Really
I've got the slave one. And
I have one game at home which is called Cash and Guns. Have any of you guys played that?
No.
You know, Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
When they're all got the guns pointing at each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's that.
A Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
So that's how it starts?
Yep. There's a pile of money in the middle, and you have to pull out your gun and point at someone, and it can be loaded or unloaded. And you got to try and either yield or, you know.
That sounds...
And is it called a Mexican standoff because you got to be the last one?
Do you do it with Nerf guns or?
We can do it with Nerf guns. Nice. But then you kind of know if there's
sounds like Pain Club.
But then you kind of know if there's bullets involved or not.
I've got Nerf guns that we can hide the bullets in.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I've got gel blasters that can play this game. Yeah. Gel blasters at like
point blank range,
half a meter.
You don't really have that many shots, and it only takes 2 shots to get you out of the game completely.
Okay.
So you got to be careful with your bullets. But it's pretty fun.
Sounds very interesting. So, yeah, I like it. I like it.
That was a really good question.
I actually quite like that. Have you got any? Okay, here's the other one. Have you got any games that you've ever bought, spent lots of? Oh, I just realized the stupidity of this question.
You started now. You have to
yes. You've bought a whole heap of shit and you've never even learnt the rules for or played.
I think I'll start with this one.
Half this cupboard.
I love
It's literally a wardrobe full.
keeping those games in that plastic it comes in. It's beautiful.
I know. There are games that I don't even like. The amount of money I've spent on Pokemon cards for my kids, nobody in my house knows how to play it. I spent a Versus card game, Marvel Versus, don't know how to play it, have boxes of it.
My kids started playing Pokemon. They're actually beating the at me at the minute in Pokemon. My eldest daughter is doing like, I was playing her just the other week, and and she's like, "Oh, Daddy, you going easy on me?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "No, she's just. Why am I losing? What's happening?" I just couldn't understand it. She's really grasped the concept of the
Go
game.
back to the winery and play Connect 4.
I've stopped playing.
It's actually a really good game. It really is.
Can't play with my kids anymore. They're better than me at stuff.
The other one I've invested an awful lot of money in was Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was playing that at work.
Yeah.
With a certain group of people, and
instead of doing your job,
that was my job. Ironically, that actually was my job. And spending an absolute ton of money on that, and now nobody plays it.
Yeah.
So I'm left with all this
Tax
treasure.
deductible then.
Well, maybe about 4 years ago. I can't go back and redo a tax. I can. I can.
just bring it back. Bring it back. There.
Sweet.
You're welcome. Invoice sent.
Yeah. It's 4th edition D&D. You know what? We haven't even touched on role plays. Let's can't talk. We have not even touched on role playing games. Let's save that for another
Yeah,
dicey
I think
question.
we should.
We've only done board games. We haven't really gone into the realms of which role playing games, because there is a plethora of those out there. And boy, oh boy, have I played some role
I've only
playing.
played Pathfinder and 5th edition.
Yeah, I think I've got one extra one after that. Then no, Star Wars.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I think that's what let's shelve that conversation is.
Oh, triggered much?
I love you, 7 random miniatures in Galaxy of War booster pack.
All right, let us get back into the game at hand. We are going to be playing a thing called Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and
so
we are
pumped.
going to be doing the Essentials Kit. So for you guys that don't know what the Essentials Kit, I stole this off one of my children.
I had a copy. I don't know why you need to nick it off your kid.
This is, well, it was there. This is a box that you get. It is essentially a starter kit.
It's essentially an essentials
It's
kit.
essentially an essentials kit. There are 3 actual starter kits for this. There's the starter kit set.
Yep.
There's the essentials kit, and there's the basic kit, I
Is there a
believe.
basic kit? I thought that they're redoing the essentials kit.
Yeah.
I know that, but is there a basic kit as
So,
well?
we are going to be playing through this, but in this kit, you get a whole heap of really cool swag, actually. So you get this really cool GM screen that I've got here with some nice pictures of elves and stuff on
It's
the back
about
of
a
it.
third of the size of a normal GM screen.
No, I think you'll find actually, but the dimensions are exactly the same.
Is it
It's just
really
made
far
of,
away?
It's made of tissue paper.
Yeah, you've just gotten bigger. The GM screens for D&D though are a different. They are
dimensions to the
made
Pathfinder
different
one.
to the Pathfinder ones. Pathfinder ones are probably in landscape.
The
Whereas,
Pathfinder ones are made good.
oh, jeez. And so it starts. You get some cards in here for different things, like your initiative track. You also get some cool maps. You also get 2 books. You get like a Pathfinder Beginners Players book.
Pathfinder? Steady.
Yeah. So you get a D&D Player's Handbook, so a little cut down version of the Player's Handbook, plus you get the module that we are going to be playing through, which is called the Dragon of Ice Spire Peak. That was really hard to say.
I spy with my little eyes.
A dragon
I
at
mean,
my peak.
I struggled to talk at the best of times.
Can I say
and
something?
Then you get the official Dungeons and Dragons red dice, and you get lots of them. You don't just get
It's like a full set, 2D20s,
Yeah.
44s,
There are it's
46s, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really great. There's heaps in there, and it is everything that you will need to start playing this game. And that's why I think it's so good that we've chosen this, because you don't need everything. I know that we all have bought stuff except for Brett. We all have engaged and bought the books, the special edition versions for some of us.
Yeah, but you haven't even opened it.
I'm going to say
not
this
cracking
though.
that open.
The products they put out are beautiful.
Yes.
The
There's
work
no-
is
the
beautiful.
quality is absolutely
The quality is
amazing.
amazing. The fact that they've got the cards, they think of the player and they make it easy for the
Very
player
much
to
so.
play.
Butt's coming.
I think no.
And it's only
That's what
$25
Justin's
at Amazon.
neighbour's place.
Yeah, it is cheap.
Well, is it?
$25.
The essentials kit and the
kit.
starter sets are actually really cheap.
Oh, I can't get over my disdain to look at the price tag.
Yeah, the rule books are all around $50.
Really?
Which is, yeah, it is not as expensive as other games out there.
From what I've done, getting to this point, the interface is so user friendly.
Yeah.
And, you look at, I haven't looked at a book.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but, and I don't like, from what I've played in the game, I don't like it. I haven't enjoyed it because I thought it was very simplistic, but beautiful. The products are perfectly made and well intended,
crafted. Yep.
good user interface. I think, what D&D
What did D&D do?
well, I think I'll call them D&D. What they have done is made it very accessible for people to jump into this game. And for that, I really appreciate it because the more people out there playing, the more people I've got to convert to Pathfinder.
But also the D&D Beyond website. Like, look, I've got some criticisms on the fact that I've bought physical books and I would love to be able to have a code in those physical books that translate those to digital. I get you got to make money and it's role playing and all that kind of stuff. So I can put some of that aside, but D&D Beyond, like if you have a subscription and if you're not a tight ass like I am because I spend all my money on comic books, if you can spend your money on that, I think it is a really nice thing to get because everything that I've used on there so far, including the dice roller and the character and the builder and all that, even though you don't have all the options, if you're just going straight for the vanilla version, you can get everything you need to play the Essentials kit right there.
I agree. The interface is
What would be
beautiful.
nice, I think, with the D&D Beyond is if you buy a hard copy of the book, that
You get a
it came
code.
with a code
Yeah.
that you could key into your D&D Beyond
I think
account,
that's
which
been
is-
That's what Justin just said.
Like a Steam code.
You were drinking Black Hops.
Sorry, my mistake.
Okay, so I'm feeling a little pissy right now.
I know.
I think we
It's
all are.
a little swimmy, right?
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is that in talking to what you say about good products and the cost, Justin, as well, is I'm a big advocate of Games Workshop. They themselves have a couple of role-playing systems out that I am super keen to actually try, but like just to get the core rule book is like $100.
Yeah.
And that for me is a bit much
And-
for just one book.
Especially since you wouldn't read
book. No offense. It's a hefty book. It is twice the size of any of
So
these
like
books.
Dark Heresy, that kind of
Yeah,
Total War that stuff.
so more like Soulbound is the
they're
fantasy
dense-
level
they're
one.
dense
They're
books.
substantial books, but it's like it's an outlay. Of a
Total War's like
substantial amount.
500 pages.
Yeah,
It's massive.
yeah.
So
But then when if you look at like Starfinder or Pathfinder, they're substantial rule books.
And
But
these
they're
3
nowhere near that,
pamphlets
though.
for $50 is really, really useful.
and I will say in terms of quality of product as well, the Pathfinder, I'm a diehard Pathfinder, but I know the binding of their books leaves a lot to be desired. I've had a very early print of the Pathfinder core rule book and it's fallen apart. It's still there. I wear it as a badge of honor that it is so worn, but the quality of D&D books, I go back, and I know we're going to talk about this later, but I go back quite a few editions of D&D and every single edition is great.
It's
and
true.
what I really love is the further I go back, the better they smell.
My Pathfinder book's in pristine condition.
That's because you
Yeah,
don't have one.
I know.
open
It's
it.
just never opened. Yeah.
It's a digital picture of,
In a frame.
Must get one day.
But the books are amazing.
They
The
are
illustrations are
beautifully
beautiful.
crafted,
I think as an entry into the system, as a person who doesn't know it, it does all the things right to get you in to play the game.
100%.
What I also love is the return to the world that I really enjoy the most in role playing, which is Faroon.
Let's stop gargling their balls and get into the game.
What?
Justin likes gargling balls. Ticket to Ride, then gargling balls.
That's his stretch goal.
Yeah. But what I was saying is,
To
is
bring you
that,
back.
that I do love the world of Faroon. So, and that's where this is all set. It's set in the world of Faroon, a world that has a whole history, like the Dritz Do'Urden books, the Halfling's Gem, all of those books that are in there.
Elminster.
The Elminster books, all of the gods, the whole lore of this is amazing, and they're all the Forgotten Realms books that are out there, and they are what really do this game for me. They kick it up to the next level because there is so much out there. The Drow elves, the you've got your
Beholders.
you got the Harples,
Digby.
Owlbears.
Owlbears, yeah.
the Thousand Orcs, the trolls that spark on fire with one little spark in the books, but don't work like that in this adventure. But we are actually going there. So that's where we are going to be adventuring. So where this adventure takes place is on the world of Faerun, which is a high kind of fantasy world in itself.
Hi, it's fucking baked more than Snoop Dogg.
But it's one of those worlds that is designed around the traditional. When you think D&D, you think the world of Faerun works because it is elves, dwarves, halflings, humans, and heaps of other characters in there. It's where knights are entering crypts and killing like skeletons. It's where fallen dwarf kings abandon their holds and people go in there seeking treasure and all of those kind of beautiful things, as well as the nuance of having gnomes with firearms and some of the Eberron moments as well, because I do love the Eberron world as well. They're my two favorite worlds. And thirdly, maybe the Dragonlance just behind
Dragonlance is pretty cool
because of the books.
But when you look at the origins of high fantasy, you go Tolkien and this. That's the two kind of where the genesis of this stuff came from. Yeah. And you have to be respectful of that. You've got to go, well done, well done. You've created a world and a whole heap of people and a whole heap of characters and a whole heap of stuff that you can play in and immerse in that's so visceral and so real. You've got to doff your cap to that and then say, you fucking assholes, I hate your system.
Yeah, but you don't hate the game, hate the player.
Isn't it the other way around?
I'm talking about Brett.
Don't hate the game, hate the GM.
Yeah, that's true. That's the player and there. So we are going to be adventuring in a place called the Sword Coast. So the Sword Coast is just south.
Baldur's Gate, let's go.
Right, and even that, you know it, right?
Yeah,
everyone knows that thing.
Yeah. So it is just south of the northern snowy areas where the Dritz books takes place, actually, and some of it also takes place on the Sword Coast.
Where Caddy Bree got on a boat.
That's right. And it's a place where daring souls delve into ancient strongholds and explore the ruins of long-lost kingdoms. I'm reading straight out of the book here. Amidst a lawless wilderness of jagged, snow-capped peaks, alpine forests, bitter winds, and roaming monsters, the coasts hold great bastions of civilization, as the city of Neverwinter, which you may have heard, which is close to the area that we're going to be in the shadow of the fuming volcano known as Mount Hotnow, which is or Hotenau, maybe?
Yeah, let's go with that because
it's a gnome.
It sounds less like a declaration and more like an actual location.
It's a gnome stuff. But that's my part of things. But I think the really interesting part is I want to meet some new characters. So I'd really love to for you guys to go through the characters that you've been thinking about. There are some things I want to roll at the table.
Were we supposed to do characters?
There are some things I want to roll at the table. Don't worry, a monk is always a monk. But there are things I want to roll at the table. I want to hear about them. But I think really importantly, it's about you guys filling us in on what your take in on races and the lore of your characters and the lore of the society that you come from. Because I want to know how that informs your character and then how your character might be different or might fit in with that and all of that kind of stuff. So I think maybe we could we could go around maybe talking about race first, what races you've selected.
I don't see race.
If you go through the adventure, so if you go
an aquatic characters, you don't see race.
If you go through the player's handbook, that's the first thing that it says you should do. You should go through race. So don't tell us the name of your character, but tell us the race of the character that you have chosen. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Human. No. So I kind of went into making this character. I've kind of gone things that I haven't really played before and I wanted to. And it's kind of a lot of it has kind of harkened back to our New Year's resolution episode when we first started this year. We had some resolutions and I kind of went, we're going to do some of them.
Okay.
So I've gone a halfling.
Oh.
Fuck.
Okay.
I think it's going to be suiting my class. It's going to be pretty good.
As the tallest man at the table. Yep. Excellent.
Yep. I can really relate, you know.
Yeah. You're half a Luke.
So is one of his legs.
Depends which, I was going to say half of me is a halfling.
Yeah, that was... Okay.
So I'm mansplaining. Come on.
But yeah, so I've gone halfling.
So tell us about halfling society in the Forgotten Realms. Tell us, like, what type. There are different types of halflings, aren't there?
So I'm a Littlefoot. I'm going to get my
a Littlefoot brand of
Lightfoot.
halfling.
Something like that.
Lightfoot, I think
Lightfoot?
it's called.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit more agile than some of the other halflings.
Okay.
You know?
And tell us about, like, what's halfling society? What's all of that kind of stuff?
Well, a lot of halflings, they're one of the, main races in Faerun. So they're kind of all over the place. There is select halfling settlements like Gallican and all that kind of stuff. But my character is a bit more in a mixed area. He spent a significant time. I'm going to go into my class a little bit.
No, don't go into your class. I want to hear about. I want you to inform us about the halfling society. So halflings in general. I want you to generalize about halflings and teach me about what your understanding of halflings is.
Okay, so without reading, I kind of think of halflings as a bit mischievous.
Yep.
They're always. I like to think of them a little bit like hobbits, but I kind of think the D&D halflings are a little bit more mischievous and cheeky and a little bit more, let's say Cockney rather than Yorkshire.
Why'd you look at me? Why did you look at me?
Because you were saying cock.
Yeah, that's right. On the knee.
Oh.
Instead of like the Yorkshire farmer halflings, which are hobbits, they're a little bit more
mischievous, more like Pet Mary and
they're a bit
Pippin.
more streetwise and get into trouble.
Little Mary and Pippin and the Cray twins.
Yeah, a little bit less Samwise.
Yeah, and because there are different styles of halfling out there. There are the stout hearts or something like that. You're looking at me like you haven't read the section on halflings.
I didn't read that.
I did the one that he's actually doing, which is surely the only one he needs to know, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you're telling me. So are they nomadic creatures in your mind? Are they people who set up whole communities? What? How do they attach to other communities? How do they live in this world and interact with other races?
In my kind of the way I'm playing it, they are just part of a settlement. Like the settlements are fairly mixed from where I'm talking about.
Okay.
So there's humans, dwarves, elves. They all can kind of mingle together. So, they're just like every other person in that town. They just have smaller doors.
So they're a little bit like, I guess, half elves in the fact that they don't have half elves, humans, halflings in your world. They all kind of mingle together because dwarves have their strongholds, gnomes, elves have their forests, gnomes have their mountains.
When the hobbits go to the Prancing Pony in Lord of the Rings, and he's like, "Oh, I've got some nice hobbit-sized rooms for you."
Yeah,
I think of it like that. That the society is used to seeing them, so they kind of, compensate for their size with,
But there's no Hobbiton or Halflington.
No, it's literally it's just a mingled town and they kind of mix.
Okay. So, and that's been, so, and again, I asked you this because I want to know your character's perception and your character's experience. So in your character's experience, even though the lore of Faerun might be different for people who know a bit more than we do about this.
It will make a lot more sense when I go into my class, but he is very much used to
cosmopolitan.
Yeah. Cosmopolitan kind of mixing into where he is. Okay. And he is, he's not an oddity anywhere near where he is.
Perfect. So that gives us a bit of idea of your race. Brett, what race have you chosen? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, what you might know about the world of D&D, the material plane here, that there are other planes. There are planes of fire and earth and water.
I already don't
air.
like this. I don't like where this is going.
I'm wondering what's happening here.
Yeah.
In those planes, they're inhospitable to humans. They're, of fire where you can't live, or water and you drown, or, crushing rocks, or
747s.
But genies in those planes are quite easy and able to live in those planes.
Okay, I do like
now,
this
those
character.
genies sometimes make their way to the material plane and find it quite hospitable in a mixed planar environment like the material plane. And sometimes those genies see a human or a other kind of race in that material plane and they take their eye, and relationships form and love bounds and children are born. Mm-hmm. Those children are called Gensai.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So sometimes those Gensai form because, they are born because somewhere in their lineage, a genie has been part of their, family.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're a direct, their parents are genie. Now, those genie see those children as accidents and don't acknowledge them and disappear. And quite often the children don't have any connection to their genie parent.
Mm-hmm.
And those children are quite often ostracized in their environment, in their worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So they're seen as outcasts and quite often find themselves as outcasts, but also see themselves as slightly better than everyone else. They find their genie powers.
A real departure from the characters you like to play.
Sometimes it's intellectual, sometimes it's physical, but they find and quite often they have to prove themselves in that space to go, actually, I am better than everyone else. And strive to prove themselves in that space. So my character has and they've got like their body kind of manifests it in different kind of hues or tones depending on where what plane they've come from.
Before you get to your character, now tell us about, because there are 4 different types of...
There are 4 planes that traditionally these genie come from to mingle with the material.
And how do you say it? Because I've always...
Gensai.
I've always called it, because if you read it, it's Ganassi. Like if you,
you are correct. Yes, you are correct.
It's Ganassi.
I totally mixed up the S and the A in my reading of it.
But I think it's Genasi or Gensai or something. I think I've always pronounced it wrong.
I'd go Genasi.
Genasi.
Something like that. Like
Genasi. Like Genie Nasi.
Yeah. Something like that. So, of the 4 of those planes, the heritage of my character has come from the plane of rock and earth and has given him a sense of solidity. He finds himself very comfortable in tunnels and underground, but not so much in cities and built environments and where the open sky is.
So are these Genasi, are they... like we talked about society of Genasi in general, are they usually in society? Are they outskirts? Are they...
They crop up everywhere because it's part of a lineage sometimes. So, you might be born as 5-6 generations down the track. So there's no one kind of settlement of them. And they're quite rare because they pop up occasionally. So they're in lots of societies, but they're seen as outcasts. They're seen as something other than the norm.
What do they look like? Like, are they obvious?
They certainly have hues. So, mine, earth, some of them have red or copper or different hues. Some look rocky and crumbly or muddy or have kind of an earthen quality to them. Some are quite metallic and refined. My character is a dull grey.
Okay.
And has a lot of kind of chips and cracks to himself. There's a bit of wear on him. Because he's earth and he's quite large and hefty. One of the traits of earth and Genasi are that they are stronger or more constitutionally able. So air ones are more flighty and fire ones are more burny, I guess.
So, and is he used to going into large settlements? Is he like, are they kind of outskirty kind of creatures or?
I think they find a place for themselves in a settlement if they have to, but they find that place and are quite, it's an isolated spot in the settlement.
Gotcha.
So they're in unusual positions in that settlement. The ranger on the outside or, the scout on a boat if you're a water genasi.
Always the different type.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that moves us to you, Luke. What kind of character have you brought? Something monkish?
Well, we're not doing class yet. You want to know my race, right?
No, I want to know your race.
Monkey.
A monkey.
No, I've gone for something something that I've wanted to play for a while, actually, with the idea of
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's actually an Arakukra.
What?
An Arakukra.
What's an Arakukra?
So an Arakukra.
Describe an Arakukra.
So an Arakukra, I mean, it first came into D&D quite a few editions ago, but it was in like the monster manual from like way back when. But as time's progressed, they've actually included it as a character class that you can actually... character race type that you can actually design your character around. But essentially is a birdman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I start with the setup. Yeah, I can fly. I have a fly speed straight off the bat at first level of 50 feet.
Oh.
So yeah.
You have the air, I have the ground.
So you have wings.
I have wings.
Do
Yes.
you have arms and wings?
So, well, I mean, like, depends on the depiction because there are that's changed over time. The current iteration of it is that you have a separate set of wings and arms.
Okay.
Like originally the artwork and I think the design was that you had the wings and there were hands on the wings.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like kind of you folded them
like
down.
the guy
But-
from He-Man.
Yes,
Yeah.
a little bit like Stratos.
Yeah,
yes.
Stratos.
But so now, like a lot of the artwork and I think a lot of the concepts of the Arakukra are that you have a separate set of arms. And
Okay.
the wings are attached to the musculature into
Like
your chest
like
and
an
things like that.
angel or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
A
So,
Hawkman.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
the
and-
classic kind of things that you would associate with a bird, you got the beak, the large eyes,
Okay.
the wings, they're very light bones. So, while there isn't anything necessarily in the rules about taking additional damage for taking hits, that's obviously going to be up to you. But they do have brittle bones. So, being a
Okay.
grappler is not a good thing for an Arakukra. So,
Cloaca?
Can they see distances?
I have actually DM'd a game with an Arakukra monk in it.
Oh,
and
it's
fucking hated
yeah,
it.
it's a broken build for a monk.
Yeah.
I've been told before it's an absolute broken
was
build for a monk.
ridiculous.
Wow, great.
She would
Okay,
just
I'm looking forward to the
she would
class
just
section.
grapple with the bird and then fly up and then drop
And
things.
drop. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's amazing.
So tell
Oh,
me
what a
more.
surprise. Something broken in D&D 5e.
Can you speak normally, or are you like?
So no, they have their own language, but I don't think it's necessarily one of the language types that actually falls within the realm of when you're designing your character. But they do speak common as well.
Okay.
They look down on other races with a certain
Quite-
substantial.
literally?
No, hang on, no, yeah, of pity because they don't have the freedom to fly and be free to be able to
Okay,
move
wow.
around. So
Are there
Okay.
different kinds of birds they're based
so
on?
there can be, yeah. So like in Faroon, there are a number of different colonies. So like the Arakukra live in colonies, like like birds live in colonies,
that's
kind of
cool.
thing,
Like
or
called
nesting and
nests?
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So you have
Depending on climate and all that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, absolutely. So they'll have like a lead member who
Yeah.
usually is a warrior type, and then I'll have an associated kind of almost cleric to do all the
Yeah.
ritual stuff within their community. But generally, they don't adventure. They don't. They kind of keep themselves to themselves. Don't have a huge amount to do with other races. They really don't like dwarves or underground dwellers.
Okay.
And that's also reinforced with the fact that they actually get on quite well with elves, but and as a response, as a result of that, they don't like dwarves even more because obviously dwarves and elves are a bit of an issue amongst themselves. But they do like drow, and even though they're elves and they live under the ground, so there's not an issue so much with them. But yeah, so.
And are they like in terms of a race? And I guess we haven't gone through this. Like I assume because halflings are one of those main races, you get like evil all the way to good, and there's everything
You
in
talk
between.
about alignment.
Yeah, alignment kind of stuff. We're going to
So
get to
generally,
alignment soon,
Oh,
but
okay,
like as a general populace, are they seen positively or
Yes,
negatively?
so they're good, but you might even say that they're very chaotic. They don't like being involved in politics and things like that. They don't. They're not material usually.
Yep.
They don't need much because they're just often they'll go into a farmer's land and grab a piece of livestock and piss off with it, kind of thing. They don't
so
see
popular
ownership
amongst farmers.
Yes, yeah. So they don't see ownership in the same way that other races do.
Okay.
So they just come and go as they please. They're not nomadic, but they're obviously very
Yeah.
free in how they move
Okay.
around.
Are they settle those colonies amongst themselves? They don't intermingle with other races, or
Not so much, no. So that
Okay.
it's kind of like that usual kind of thing when you think about I can't even
An
remember the
airy
species of the
kind
bird,
of-
no, but like cliff faces or
Yeah,
high
yeah,
tree
right.
tops and things like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll
nest.
have their colonies, they nest, and they will have nests. Yeah,
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
build nests. So they'll incubate eggs for like 9 months, I think, is it, or something longer than that for
Wow.
the hatchlings to come out. Yeah,
and it wouldn't be very common for the common folk to have encountered.
very uncommon. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, adventurers in a sense for this context are actually considered quite rare, and it's like they're usually any one of the race that would want to engage in that is scorned and not seen as the normal
By
kind of
their
thing.
own
yeah or
clan
you tend
or-
to find adventurers or Arakukra that have been expelled from their communities, kind of thing.
So you and Brett are going to glean some attention from being a little bit different to the
little bit
norm.
peculiar.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit outside of the commoners kind of worlds. And
So-
stuff. Although he's probably a little more familiar in form and approach than a bird.
yeah, bloody great big
So
bird.
what kind of bird are we talking? Are we talking
So
a toucan or are we talking
he's got a crow? He's a murderer.
Yeah, so
Murderer of kukri.
yeah. So it's going to have that kind of bird of prey look to it, but it's going to be stealth is not going to be a thing for this bird because
Sam
it's
the Eagle?
bright, bright. I was going to go one color, but I've actually
the eagle
changed
from
mine.
Angry Birds.
Yeah, it's actually going to be very, very bright blue.
Okay.
Oh.
So like Sam the American Eagle from Muppets.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What does obdurate mean?
And grumpy. Yeah.
And grumpy. Okay, perfect. So, all right, that leads us a little on to our character class. I am excited by this. Like, you guys haven't really talked to me about your characters, so I'm finding a lot of this early on. Let's go in reverse order because I just want to do it that way. Luke, let's go.
Okay,
class.
so I've gone for a monk. No, I'm joking.
Grappling monk of heights.
we all
I call it a dropping monk because now nobody's giving me the idea. I'm going to use that one day.
Apparently,
That
it's
sounds
good luck when a monk, monk drops
I
a
like that
person on
idea
you.
of flyby attack, grab, off, drop. I just think that's genius.
Yeah, never look up at an Arakuka with your mouth open.
No, I'm actually going sorcerer.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to go for the arcane
Oh.
spellcaster. Absolutely, yeah.
How does a beak say sorcerer?
Well, this is going to be interesting because I've got an idea of how I want to do the concept for the
Okay.
speech because
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay,
So, sorcerer.
Tell me about sorcerer. Is that your understanding of a sorcerer?
So my
What
understanding
does
of a
that-
sorcerer is somebody who has an innate ability to wield magic,
Mm-hmm.
which usually comes from some ancestral either pact or bloodline interference with a certain higher level or higher plane of being
Mm-hmm.
that is imparted this ability to wield magic
Are
within
you thinking
the
like
bloodline.
a
Like a-
god or a dragon?
Yeah, either. So I mean,
Or a genie, they're higher.
Yeah. So mine is going to be of a draconic bloodline
Oh.
from the rule book. Not that there was a dragon and a bird
Yeah.
getting busy, but there was a bargain that was struck
egg
by
was
an
mixed up.
ancient Arakukra of the founding member
Okay.
of the colony. Is then basically done this deal and. My character is now manifesting some of the side effects of
The
that
seventh
deal.
son of the seventh son shall be born from the dragon's blood.
So yeah,
Okay.
so that's how it's manifested, and that's ultimately gonna. Do you want some character background here? A little bit of flavor
we'll
there,
get to
or-
that a little
Okay,
bit
cool,
about
cool.
specifically. So,
Cool.
and are these sorcerers common amongst
Very
the Arakukra?
uncommon. Sorcerers generally are incredibly
Yeah.
uncommon.
Are they?
Yes, but certainly, yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's what the book said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I did read it.
I haven't.
This is the most I've ever been schooled by.
Oh,
Luke.
right.
Yeah.
So, as they're so rare, but again, on top of the fact that in the Arakuka community, it's very rare for a individual to want to engage with going out into the world to, use this,
Okay.
gift kind of thing. I
So
guess
a lot of rarities in
Absolutely,
your character. Your
yes,
character is
yes.
very
It's
different.
going to be
from
very
the norm of
conflicted
his-
and out of
his or
his
her-
comfort zone. Yes, yes, it's
It's got a dark lock of feathers that cover one eye.
All right. What about you, Brett? So you have an Earth. How we
Genocide.
say genocide?
Genocide.
An Earth. I'll look that
Genasi.
up before.
Genasi, I
Yeah,
think, isn't it?
we'll Google that one.
Yep.
But you have an Earth guy.
Yep. Earth guy.
What class?
He's in tune with his physical self. He gets angry sometimes. He's a barbarian.
Okay.
You wouldn't
All
like
right.
me angry.
Yeah.
Wow. So a non-grounded barbarian.
What do you mean non-grounded? He's
No.
very grounded and puts everyone else on their ass as well.
Okay.
Grounds everyone else into the
Uh-huh.
ground.
Okay. And how is that like? Is there a generalization of barbarians with that race or a
look,
connection, or they can be anything?
Earth genocide typically have enhanced constitution and strength. So it's something that they would, the fighter classes is what they would gravitate towards. If you were going to gravitate anywhere, it's a useful
Is a
class.
fiery temperament something that you would see amongst your race?
No, because that's a fire element,
Okay.
a fire genie. It's way more grounded and solid and kind of considered.
Okay.
These races, like Earth,
Yeah.
they ponder more. They take a bit more time. They're a bit slower
Sure.
to move, to act, to take initiative.
Sure.
But when they do, they are solid in that action. And I think that's kind of the embodiment of the rockness of them. Or the,
It's like a
the
rock,
solidity.
right? It's
The Rock.
It's like a rock. It's still when it's sitting down, but when it's moving down a hill, when it's rolling down a hill,
Once
It's
they have
moving.
momentum, you cannot stop it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So your barbarian is considered, or is angry, or is like how do you think that works?
I don't think his rage doesn't come from a place where he's flighty and steps into rage easily. Mm-hmm. I think it's like this volcano that bubbles and bubbles and bubbles and bubbles, and all of a sudden it bursts.
Okay, gotcha. So like molten rock.
So he's like lava.
Mr. Lava. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that kind of sets him in a place that makes sense in terms of his heritage and his abilities and his ability to, his need to find his excellence in himself and keep bettering himself to make sure he is better than those around him.
Okay, good. All right. And Lindsay, what class have you chosen for your character?
So, as we discussed earlier, like I went back to when we were doing our,
New Year's resolution.
Sorry, this beer's hit me now.
Before you've been quiet for a minute.
I just watched you just go.
It's just woken up.
And one of my resolutions was I want to play a face more.
Okay.
And we also, I thought, we need a healer because we haven't had one in our Pathfinder game. Sorry. I'm looking at you, Reg.
Say again, sorry, what?
No,
we don't have a healer in our
There is no healer in that game.
And
I'm only ever taking levels in Sorcerer, guys, just to let you know, okay?
So I have gone a bard.
Oh, okay.
Which is why he's more used to...
Yeah, the healer.
You're going to sing? Oh, Lindsay, I can't wait to hear you sing.
No, well, I can.
I'll be a mime?
So bards are... Unlike in Pathfinder where bards have to kind of like go down a particular level of performance.
Oh, yeah.
Bards in 5e are trained... Sorry.
Shit.
Stop it. Bards are one of my favourite character classes.
Bards in 5e...
They are shit, but...
Do you know what I would love? Just aside, I'd love by the end of whatever we're doing here that Brett is absolutely converted over to 5e. That would make
hammered on Black Ops.
Yeah. I'm sure by the time the cirrhosis kicks in, I will love 5e.
So bards in 5e with the college, they're kind of like trained in all forms of entertainment.
Sure.
But true bards, again, I think they say every kind of adventuring class is uncommon.
So
very uncommon.
Striptease?
What?
Every class, you said every form of entertainment. So you could be a stripper.
That's how you make a buck.
Yeah.
So we've got Magic Mike.
Yep, I could be Magic Mike. So
The halfling.
The Lightfoot Magic Mike. We shall call you Longfoot.
Tripod.
So they spend a extended amount of time at college learning all the different forms of entertainment until they can a true bard can find the magic in the art that they are performing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're bastardizing my life story here.
So they find their muse,
yes,
if you will.
So my character, as well as being able to sing, perform, all that kind of stuff, because it's been trained, loves writing stories. They're an author. They want to be an author. So without going too much into their backstory, they're wanting, once a bard has kind of like developed the ability to tap magic in the art form.
Sorry. Just that phrase, tap magic in the art form.
They then have to kind of adventure around the world and, find stories to tell and ways to increase their,
their knowledge, their bardic.
They've got to find lore and,
okay.
that kind of
And has your bard written a piece of work called The Name of the Breeze, and he needs to find the sequel to that, but just can't grab onto it?
His name is J.R.R. Halfling.
Funny, but that's kind of similar to what the character's name is.
Oh, gosh. All right. So, look, summing up, at the moment we have a halfling, we have a Genasi, or however it's called, and an Arakukra, a sorcerer, a barbarian, and a bard, which is going to be an amazing character makeup. But you know what? I want to meet your characters, but we're going to do that next time. That was
You mean I needed to put this together and then we're going to do it?
I thought we were going to do some rolling. I got some things I need to roll
so excited
Me too.
by meeting these guys.
I don't know
your
you take it.
names yet.
The idea, you've given me so many ideas. A flying monkey drops people from the air and a